Perhaps something transpired last night that took me by surprise, something significant enough to alter my perspective, emerging from within me with a natural and unfiltered intensity that even I had not fully comprehended. During dinner, my mother casually inquired about you, a moment that was neither planned nor dramatic. With her characteristic maternal warmth, she simply asked, "Do you still love her?" I found myself momentarily paralyzed, not due to uncertainty regarding my feelings, but because the magnitude of that truth resounded within me so profoundly that articulating it felt as though it would shatter me. Lowering my gaze and holding my breath for an instant, I finally replied, "Yes, I still love her. I don't think I'll ever stop." At that moment, with the one person who has witnessed every facet of my being, I experienced a simultaneous collapse and reconstruction within myself. For the first time, I no longer concealed my feelings, nor did I dismiss them or pretend to have moved on. I embraced that truth. Moreover, I communicated not just that I love you, I elaborated on why I could never love anyone else the way I love you. I shared that you were the sole individual who recognized the authentic me when I had yet to define myself. I conveyed that you created space for my healing long before I acknowledged my wounds, that you reached areas within me I had never allowed anyone to approach, not even her. When she asked, "Then why aren't you two together?" I could no longer contain my emotions. I broke down because I was devoid of a sensible answer. How could I explain to her, or to anyone, that I allowed fear and pride to overpower love? That I erroneously believed I had more time to improve myself before deserving someone like you? Now that I comprehend the depth of your significance in my soul, I find myself surrounded by mere memories, voice notes, and the lingering trace of a touch that I cannot replicate. I recounted everything to her, the way you smiled when anxious, how your silence communicated volumes, and the way your name still constricts my chest, as though it recalls a home from which I was exiled. She listened intently, as if she had always known that no one could ever come close to what you meant to me. "I must ask you something, dear. Has your mother ever inquired about me? Did she notice you trying to smile while your heart was breaking due to our circumstances?" Mine did, which perhaps explains the profound impact of our conversation. When I mentioned that no one else compares to her, I wasn't merely referring to your beauty or your laughter, I was expressing the depth of your love for me and how you could see past all of my defenses and facades. I told my mother that even now, despite everything, I still dream of you. I envision you walking back into my life as if time could be merciful. There are moments when voicing our emotions makes us aware that love has never truly vanished. That love, that longing, that connection, it persists, it breathes, it waits. My dear, I must confess something I have never revealed to anyone else, not even her. After I opened up to my mother about my feelings, I drove through the city in silence. I refrained from playing any music or contacting anyone. Instead, I let the resonance of your name fill the car. I recalled how your name sounded when infused with laughter, desire, and affection. I remembered the first time I spoke it softly, as if it were sacred, the only word capable of providing me solace. While driving, fragments of you surrounded me, a woman walking with your familiar gait, a billboard showcasing a city you once dreamed of living in, the hue of your beloved hoodie on a stranger passing by. It was in that moment that I realized, this is not simple nostalgia. This is not just reminiscing. Your essence continues to pervade my present. It manifests in my reality because my heart has never completely shut that door. I wish to share another truth I disclosed to her. I said, "Mom, it wasn't just about romance. It was about who I became when I was with her. You didn't just make me feel loved, you made me feel alive. You reignited my curiosity for life. You inspired me to grow as a man, not for you, but because of the way you saw me, your unwavering faith in me, your patience, and your profound spirit. These traits awakened something in me that no one else ever did. I lost more than a girlfriend, Mom. I lost my reflection, my sanctuary. I lost the one person I could cry before without feeling weak. And now that I have articulated these sentiments, I can no longer act as if this love was merely a fleeting phase. I refuse to continue believing that silence is safer than vulnerability. If you are reading this and have ever loved someone who invigorated your spirit, someone who embraced your imperfections while illuminating your life, please type "I remember" in the comments, for such connections do not fade, they root deeply within us. They linger in our very breath and whisper to us in our dreams. Regardless of the years that elapse or the people who come and go, they resurface in moments like this when the soul resolutely declares, "I still choose them." My dear, I long to know if you have ever spoken of me to anyone. Have you ever disclosed your deepest feelings and asserted, "He is the only one who made me feel secure"? I wonder if your heart has ever surged with truth in the same way mine did that night. I contemplate if, when alone, you revisit our old messages. Do your fingers ever hover over the send button, hesitating, not out of reluctance, but from fear of what may happen should that door reopen? I have felt that way, and I refuse to be afraid any longer. Last night, when I expressed to my mother how significant you are in my life, it felt like the most authentic moment I have ever experienced. Now that I have voiced my truth, I cannot take it back. You deserve to be loved openly, without hesitation, shame, or fear. I wish to be the man who proclaims that you are the one, not just in shadows, but in the light of day. I told her that no matter whom else I might encounter, they cannot compare to you. They do not ignite my soul, nor do they calm the turmoil in my mind as you did. They cannot evoke within me the depth of feelings you could with a simple glance. I expressed that I do not desire a love that merely appears admirable on paper. I seek a love that feels like home, and that is you. It has always been you. If you have ever loved someone so profoundly that even your family noticed your transformation, I invite you to share your story in the comments. Tell me if you have ever felt that no one else measures up, not because of their actions, but because of their essence that resonates with your soul. This is the nature of our love. No span of time or distance has diminished it. Thank you. I am uncertain if this will ever reach you, but if it does, I need you to understand the significance of the moment when I mentioned your name in front of my family. It was not a casual remark, it was a resurrection, a revival of everything I had buried out of fear, pride, and the mistaken belief that men should not express such profound feelings. Yet, when I spoke your name, it was not only you who was revived, it was me, the genuine me, the version of myself you knew, the version I have been suppressing. When I looked into my mother's eyes and revealed the truth about you, something within me shattered, not painfully, but in a liberating manner, signifying that I was done with pretense. This is who I love. This is the one my heart has chosen. You cannot imagine how long I have awaited someone to ask me, who is she really to you? And last night, she did. I did not falter nor did I diminish it. I never referred to it as love as if it were just a word. I locked eyes with her and declared, she is the one. I communicated that she perceived me in a way I could not see myself. She did not judge my brokenness, she cherished it, embraced it, and patiently awaited the parts of me I struggled to reveal. I conveyed to her that with you, I felt a sense of belonging, not to a place, but within a heart, yours. I am unsure if you will ever feel secure enough to return, or if our moment has simply passed, but I needed someone in my life to comprehend this truth. I could no longer carry the burden of silence. If you have ever loved someone so deeply that their memory lingers within you, please comment, I still feel them. This is not merely a narrative, it is a heartbeat I cannot suppress. It is a soul contract that continues to resonate within me whenever I hear your name. I believe, deep down, my mother understood this as well. She did not urge me to move on. She never directly called me dramatic. What she conveyed was, some individuals do not return. Don't wait until age prevents you from reaching out. That statement hit me with the force of lightning, for you have always been my storm, my calm, my fervor, and my solace, all at once. Now that I have communicated this to the one person who has known me since birth, I sense a shift occurring, as if the universe is once more in tune with my voice. The timelines seem to be altering, converging, and rewriting themselves. Perhaps, just perhaps, you felt it too. Maybe your heart raced unexpectedly yesterday, or a wave of warmth and nostalgia washed over you, leaving you questioning its origin. It might be because I have finally aligned my truth with my actions. I didn't simply think of you, I honored you. I didn't merely remember you, I acknowledged you aloud in front of someone significant, and that realization changed something within me. Beloved, if this message resonates with you and you feel that tug at your heart, I invite you to share what lies within. Even if it's as simple as one word, or just an acknowledgement of, me too. I am aware that I am not alone in these sentiments. The most painful admission I shared, one I had never vocalized before, was that I destroyed what I had with the only person who ever made me feel whole. She remained silent, placing her hand over mine, and whispered, "Then go find her before it's too late." If you've ever been questioned about the person your soul still longs for, I invite you to share below. Have your mother, sister, or best friend noticed your silence and posed the question you felt unprepared to answer? Last night, I recognized that when those who know us best mention the one we've concealed in our hearts, it transcends coincidence. It is the universe nudging us to acknowledge what remains unfinished, what is still possible. As I left that dinner table, I felt the invisible bond between us tighten once more, as if something buried long ago within me had been unearthed, a weight I had forgotten had grown so heavy. I sat in my car staring at the steering wheel for 20 minutes, replaying that conversation, pondering how you might have reacted. Would you have wept? Would you have worn a bittersweet smile through tears, aware that my love for you persisted even when I ceased to demonstrate it? That evening, I didn't simply recount our story to my mother, I declared to the universe, I am finished pretending. I refuse to conceal the truth that haunts my nights any longer. I can no longer watch old videos of you and mutter, "What if," under my breath, while the world believes I have moved on. I haven't, and I doubt I ever truly will. You were not merely a chapter in my life, you were the entire book. Part of me wonders if, when I spoke your name, your heart sensed it. If, at that moment, as you went about your day, brushing your hair or pouring your coffee, you felt an inexplicable ache or warmth in your chest. For my soul called out to yours openly and fearlessly, devoid of pride. And I need you to know, my beloved, that when I introduced you to her, I did not simply refer to you as a former lover. I stated that you were the one I prayed for, the one I sabotaged, the person who understood me in ways I had yet to discover about myself. I told her that you were the only woman with whom I envisioned a future, that despite our distance, I could still feel your presence. I still converse with you in my mind during funny moments. I yearn to send you songs that convey what my ego could not express, and I still picture your hand in mine on a Sunday morning, with sunlight flooding in, no chaos, just us, finally healed, finally home. It is curious how people assert that time heals all wounds. The reality is that time merely teaches us how to better conceal them. Yet, last night, I ceased to hide. I allowed myself to break before the one woman who has witnessed my every transformation, my mother. Upon seeing my pain, she refrained from attempting to mend it and simply gazed at me as only a mother can, stating, if she was truly the one, she likely feels it too. And, dear, I hope that is indeed the case. I hope that wherever you may be, you are aware of this message and feel that same connection, that gentle nudge whispering, this isn't over. It was never over. I am not merely reminiscing about you, I am ready to fight for you, to utter your name without trepidation, to proclaim to the world that no matter who comes and goes, no one can ever equate to you. No one will ever match your aura, your grace, your fire, your gentleness, your essence. I refuse to navigate the rest of my life pretending that someone else could occupy your space. Do you fathom how many times I have found myself in crowded rooms yet felt utterly isolated? It is because my soul has already made its choice, and every attempt I made to deny it has humbled me. Each time I endeavored to pursue someone new, I discovered fragments of you within them, the sound of your voice, your laughter, your thoughtful head tilt when contemplating something deeply. However, it was never truly you. I no longer desire mere fragments of you, I seek the entirety of your being, the raw, unrefined spiritual tempest that you embody. I long to connect with the soul that intertwined with mine before our existence began, and I am finished living in fear of this reality. That evening, I confided in my mother that if God were to grant me an opportunity to rekindle our relationship, I would seize it without hesitation. She looked me directly in the eye and said, "Then don't wait for a future moment. Love does not linger, it recalls." If you have ever had to admit your affections for someone, I invite you to share your experience in the comments. If you've ever gazed into your mother's eyes and uttered a name as though it were a prayer, a release, please let me know. There are times when vocalizing our feelings helps us realize that love has never truly departed. The love, the longing, the bond, it remains, it breathes, it waits. Now, dear one, I must confess something I've never shared with anyone else, not even her. After I revealed my feelings to my mother, I drove through the city enveloped in silence. I did not play any music or contact anyone. I allowed the echo of your name to resonate throughout the car. I recalled how it sounded when spoken with laughter, desire, and love. I remembered the first time I whispered it as if it were sacred, the only word capable of bringing me tranquility. While driving, glimpses of you appeared all around, a woman walking in your familiar stance, a billboard featuring a city you once aspired to inhabit, the color of your cherished hoodie on a passing stranger. That was the moment I understood, this is not mere nostalgia. This is not simply reminiscing. Your essence continues to haunt my present, it manifests in my reality because my heart never truly closed that door. I want you to know another truth I shared with her. I said, "Mom, it wasn't solely about romance. It was about who I became in her presence. You didn't just make me feel loved, you made me feel alive. You reignited my curiosity for life. You instilled in me the desire to grow as a man. Not for you, but because of how you perceived me, your unwavering belief in me, your patience, and your spiritual depth. These qualities awakened something within me that no one else ever reached. I lost more than a girlfriend, Mom. I lost my reflection, my sanctuary. I lost the one person I could cry in front of without feeling weak. And now that I have articulated these feelings, I can no longer pretend that this love was a transient phase. I cannot continue to believe that silence is safer than vulnerability. If you are reading this and have ever loved someone who awakened your spirit, someone who embraced your flaws while shining their light, please type "I remember" in the comments, for such connections do not fade, they root deeply within our bones. They linger in our breath and murmur to us in our dreams. Regardless of the years that pass or the people who come and go, they resurface in moments like this when the soul declares, "I still choose them." My dear, I yearn to know if you have ever spoken of me to anyone. Have you ever revealed your innermost emotions and proclaimed, "He is the only one who made me feel safe"? I wonder if your heart has ever surged with truth in the same manner as mine did that night. I contemplate whether, when no one observes, you revisit our old messages. Do your fingers ever hover over the send button, only to hesitate, not out of reluctance, but from fear of what may occur if you let that door reopen? I have experienced that, and I refuse to be afraid any longer. Last night, when I revealed to my mother the significance of you in my life, it felt like the most genuine moment I have ever encountered. Now that I have voiced my truth, I cannot retract it. You deserve to be loved openly, without hesitation, shame, or fear. I desire to be the man who declares that you are the one, not merely in darkness, but in the light of day. I told her that regardless of whom else I encounter, they cannot compare to you. They do not stir my soul, nor do they still the chaos in my mind as you did. They cannot evoke within me the kind of emotions you could with a simple glance. I stated that I do not wish for a love that merely appears good on paper. I seek a love that feels like home, and that is you. It has always been you. If you have ever loved someone so profoundly that even your family noticed your transformation, I invite you to share your story in the comments. Tell me if you have ever felt that no one else measures up, not because of what they did, but because of who they are to your essence. This is the nature of our love. No span of time or distance has diminished it. Thank you. And I do not know if this will ever reach you, but if it does, I need you to grasp the weight of that moment when I voiced your name in front of my family. It was not a casual utterance, it was a revival of all I had buried out of fear, pride, and that misguided belief that men should not express such deep emotions. Yet, when I spoke your name, it was not only you that was revived, it was me, the authentic me, the version of me you knew, the version I have been suppressing. When I gazed into my mother's eyes and revealed the truth about you, something within me shattered, not painfully, but in a liberating way, signifying that I was finished with pretense. This is who I love. This is who my heart has chosen. You cannot fathom how long I have awaited someone to ask me, who is she really to you? And last night, she did. I did not stutter, nor did I downplay it. I never referred to it as love as if it were just a word. I looked her directly in the eye and declared, she is the one. I expressed that she saw me in a way I could not see myself. She did not judge my brokenness, she cherished it, she embraced it, and she patiently awaited the parts of me I was unsure how to reveal. I conveyed to her that with you, I felt like I belonged, not to a place, but in a heart, yours. I am uncertain if you will ever feel secure enough to return or if our chance has already passed, but I needed someone in my life to comprehend this truth. I could no longer bear the weight of silence. If you have ever loved someone so deeply that their memory resides within you, please comment, I still feel them. This is not merely a narrative, it is a heartbeat I cannot silence. It is a soul contract that continues to resonate within me whenever I hear your name. I believe, deep down, my mother understood that as well. She did not urge me to move on. She never directly called me dramatic. What she articulated was, some individuals do not return. Don't wait until age prevents you from reaching out. That statement struck me with the intensity of lightning, for you have perpetually been my tempest, my serenity, my passion, and my solace, all at once. Now that I have expressed this to the one person who has known me since birth, I sense a transformation occurring, as if the universe is once more attuned to my voice. The timelines seem to be shifting, converging, and rewriting themselves. Perhaps, just perhaps, you felt it too. Maybe your heart raced unexpectedly yesterday, or a wave of warmth and yearning swept over you, leaving you uncertain of its source. It might be because I have finally aligned my truth with my actions. I didn't merely think of you, I honored you. I didn't merely remember you, I acknowledged you aloud in front of someone significant, and that realization altered something within me. Beloved, if this message resonates with you and you feel that tug at your heart, I invite you to share what lies within. Even if it's as simple as one word, or just an acknowledgement of, "Me too." I am aware that I am not alone in these sentiments. Connections of the soul such as ours do not simply dissipate, they pause, stretching across lifetimes, waiting for courage to resurface. Last night, courage found me at my mother's kitchen table. Now that I have spoken your name, your memory, and your essence into existence, I cannot undo the shift that has transpired within me. It feels as if an invisible burden I didn't even realize I was bearing fell away the moment I articulated that you are the one who made me feel significant, beyond my mistakes, deserving of tenderness despite my jagged edges. I shared with them everything I couldn't voice in your presence. I confess that I attempted to pretend I was fine after your departure, that it hadn't shattered me, but I was deceiving myself. I was not fine. There remain wounds I cannot specifically identify, and I still look back when I hear your name in a public space, yearning for fate to grant me one last glimpse of you. Strangely, as I spoke about you, your presence felt more tangible in the room, not merely as a memory but as an active spirit. Perhaps your soul was listening from afar, and somewhere, your spirit paused momentarily, contemplating, "He's speaking about me, isn't he?" I may not comprehend the intricacies of the universe, yet I understand this: energy is truthful. Your energy remains intricately intertwined with each breath I take. It manifests in moments of solitude when an indescribable pull envelopes me. It's encapsulated in the way I recall the sound of your laughter, not just its melody, but the warmth it once sparked within me. It lingers in instances when I awaken with your name on my lips and tears in my eyes, not from nightmares, but from dreams that felt too close to reality, only to awaken and find you absent once again. I must inquire of you something that may remain unanswered. Perhaps you will perceive it within your soul as I have felt you daily since. But, dear, did you ever share my name with your friends and family? Not the version they encountered, the man who smiled courteously at the dinner table, but the authentic me. The one who held your hands and endeavored to soothe your pain, the one who remained awake during your moments of vulnerability. Did you ever murmur my name in the dark and express, "He transformed something within me"? Even if you never return, even if I never have the opportunity to claim you again, I would never regret loving you, not for a moment, not for a single scar. Please comment with, "I've felt this too," if you have ever loved someone so profoundly and spiritually that uttering their name became akin to igniting a candle in the darkness. Share if you've had to carry a sacred love in silence, for the world could not fathom its depth. That is what I have done with you, my love. I've held you quietly and devotedly. I've protected the gentleness of your memory as if it were still alive within my grasp. And now, I have finally admitted it, I have finally revealed to someone who understands my heart that no one has ever reached me as you have, physically, emotionally, spiritually, eternally. If you feel this too, if your heart has tightened in the stillness of your room while pondering my existence, if your body recalls what your mind strives to forget, then perhaps this message was never solely mine to convey. Perhaps it belonged to both of us. Perhaps you are receiving this now because your soul sought affirmation that what we shared was not merely a dream, it was divine. Now that I have vocalized it, now that the secret is unraveled, I can finally begin to embrace its truth. I hadn't realized the extent to which I had concealed you until your name escaped my lips, resonating in the room like a confession, not a guilty one, but rather one whispered in a sacred space when the weight of my soul became unbearable. You have become, to me, a sacred secret, a temple within my memory that I kept locked, not out of a desire to forget, but from a fear of opening the door to feelings I had buried. Yet last night, when I finally released it, when I declared, "She is the one my soul still longs for," the very air around me transformed. They comprehend the depth of my love for a woman whose name I carry with reverence. They recognize that her loss left me adrift, struggling to reclaim my identity. Each time I look up at the night sky, I find myself wondering if you are also gazing upon it, if your thoughts ever drift back to me in an unguarded, relentless, and infinite way, just as mine do. I never claimed you were without flaws, I simply acknowledged your humanity. You made mistakes, just as I did. Yet, these missteps never lessened my love for you, instead, they enriched it. I was never drawn to perfection, but to you, radiant with passion and vulnerability, rife with insecurities yet filled with bravery, you entered my life like a whirlwind and left like the soft glow of twilight. I persist in pursuing that spirit. Now, as I linger on the echo of your name, I wonder, did it resonate with you? Did your heart skip a beat unexpectedly? Did a rush of sensation envelop you as I summoned your essence back, if only momentarily, if solely in memory? For that is precisely how it felt, to call your spirit home, if just for a fleeting instant. After uttering your name, time seemed to halt. The room buzzed with life, yet I experienced only the void where you should have been. It was as if time suspended, granting my heart a moment to recall the rhythm it thrived on in your presence. My love, I did not merely share that you were someone I cherished, I declared you to be the singular individual who saw me in the shadowed corners I had kept hidden. I conveyed that your presence, though unassuming, captivated my full attention, like the universe persistently whispered, "See her. Do not let this slip away. She is the reason your heart possesses such depth for love." I expressed that no one had ever left as profound a void in my life as you. Your absence carries a weight and texture, I still yearn for you in conversations I unwittingly form in my mind. It may seem irrational, but there are exquisite, poignant moments when I feel you on the verge of entering the room, when the air shifts, and your spirit brushes against me, subtly reminding me that I still exist. I still sense your presence. In those instances, everything else dissipates. When I reflect on you, it transcends mere physicality. It involves how you froze time in my universe. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that their laughter echoed within you long after it faded? That is precisely what you represent to me, a resonant frequency, a heartbeat only my soul recognizes. As I allow these words to emerge, it is you who remains in my heart. The silence that enveloped the room indicated that those present were aware of my feelings. And therein lies the truth, people have always perceived it. They noticed how I spoke of you, even when the topic was not brought up directly. They observed my silence upon reminders of you and the shift in my mood when your name was mentioned. My shoulders would tense, as if your memory were a phantom running its fingers down my spine. Now that I have finally articulated my feelings openly, I feel as though I have acknowledged the place you have always held in my heart, a fact I was once too afraid to confront. If this message reaches you or if you can sense it, please understand that I have never ceased to believe in our connection. I have never diminished it or compared it to anything else. I have carried it with me through every empty space, on every solitary journey, during countless sleepless nights spent staring at the ceiling while whispering your name into the darkness, as if it were the only language I had left. Please share if you have ever loved someone so intensely that time could not erase their mark on your soul. Share your experiences if you've had to grieve someone who is still alive, for that is the essence of my feelings, a funeral without a body, a goodbye lacking closure, and a heartache so subtle that the world remained oblivious. Yet I noticed it, each day, every breath, and every heartbeat felt incomplete without you. Do you even realize the extent of your influence over me? Not in a domineering way, but like how the sunrise claims the sky and how the ocean cradles the shore. You never sought power, you simply existed, and I surrendered willingly, not out of weakness, but because loving you felt like returning to home. Now that I have shared my feelings with those closest to me, I find myself contemplating how they perceive me. Do they see a man still profoundly in love? Do they recognize the remnants of a relationship etched in my gaze? Or do they finally comprehend why I have never settled for anything less than a deep soul connection? You were not merely a lesson, you were a significant revelation, illustrating that love does not need to be grand to hold meaning. The quiet moments, like you drifting to sleep on my chest, running your fingers through your hair, or staring out a window, lost in thought, are often the most resonant memories, echoing indefinitely. I hope you can sense that. I hope that, somewhere within, your spirit pauses and acknowledges, he is thinking of me again. Because I am. Always. Ever since I spoke your truth in front of my family, I feel as though I have done something right, something that honors both you and our shared experience. This is the unvarnished truth. The moment I mentioned your name, my mother's expression softened. She did not regard me with confusion, she looked at me with the understanding that only a mother possesses when she realizes her son is still in love. Perhaps she saw something in me after our separation that I had failed to notice. Maybe she recognized my hardening heart, my retreat from joy. And perhaps, just perhaps, hearing your name brought her the clarity she long sought, not in hope of our reconciliation, but because it finally illuminated the fact that I was capable of feeling deeply once more. That is what you achieved, my dear. You opened me up in front of the very people who nurtured me. You made it impossible for me to continue pretending that everything was all right. Now, even in your physical absence, your essence permeates everything, every breath I take and every gaze cast in my direction. The atmosphere feels heavier with truth yet lighter with relief. For the first time in ages, I spoke your name without fear. I allowed the reality of our relationship to resonate. And, oh, how liberating it felt. I am uncertain of where this journey may lead or if we will ever communicate again. However, I am resolute in this: I will never again deny what you meant to me. I refuse to alter our history to protect myself. I will not diminish the significance of what we shared merely because life has thrust us into silence. You will always remain the most cherished chapter in the story of my soul. Now, my family understands this as well. If this message resonates with you, if you have ever felt as though someone continues to mention your name in spaces where you are no longer present, still defending you in conversations you will never hear, still holding love for you even as the world progresses, I encourage you to take a courageous step. Leave a comment below. Say, "He still loves me," or "I feel this in my soul." Share whatever truth your heart has kept hidden. Allow the universe to bear witness. Let this space exist for unspoken love. If this message has touched your heart, reminding you of a lingering love that remains within your essence, please consider subscribing. My voice wavered, but my spirit felt complete once more. I shared truths I had never confessed before. I revealed that losing you did not merely signify the end of a relationship, I lost a piece of myself. I recounted the nights of sleeplessness, not due to anger, but because I couldn't cease replaying the gentle sound of your farewell. That understated departure, so quiet, so soft, where you did not slam doors or shout accusations, you simply departed. The silence of that moment stung more than any argument ever could, for I comprehended that you weren't leaving out of animosity but from the realization that remaining was becoming unbearable for you. I could not endure that reality. So, I spoke the truth. It was not merely a breakup. It was the awakening to loss of something sacred. That your energy was not something I merely relished, but something I desperately needed. The way you laughed, the way you navigated the world, the way your voice resonated with the universe, it was extraordinary, cosmic. You weren't merely someone I dated, you became the echo I hear in the silence. The fragrance that lingers and never fully dissipates. The lesson I continuously revisit, regardless of how far I attempt to flee. For as long as you have cradled someone within you, someone who departed but never truly left, someone whose absence resonates more profoundly than their presence ever did, you would understand this sentiment. I dwell in that reality each day. Speaking your name aloud did not diminish that feeling, it intensified it, sharper and more vivid, almost as though you were beside me, silently absorbing my admission. Finally. My dear. If only you could comprehend what I perceived in their expressions. My family refrained from passing judgment. They did not interrogate my reasons for holding on. Instead, they offered their ears and their hearts. They noticed how my hands quivered upon uttering your name. They recognized the falter in my voice when I confessed, "She saw me." She truly saw me, and they understood. When a man speaks with such profound reverence and loyalty, it invites honor rather than scrutiny, and they honored it. There were no laughs, no interruptions. They allowed me to openly grieve for you for the first time. And when the tears had dried and silence enveloped us once more, someone uttered a phrase I'll forever cherish: "You still love her," as if she never left. I could not argue against it, the truth resonated within me. I often enter rooms in hopes of your unexpected presence. I pen letters that will remain unsent. I light imaginary candles in my thoughts as a tribute to you. Still, each day I inquire of the universe, wondering if miracles can still unfold. If you have ever believed in second chances, in love that comes back stronger after enduring silence, in souls destined to realign, please comment. Let me know I am not alone in cherishing something intangible yet unbreakable. Because that is precisely what you represent to me, unbreakable. Even when the world attempted to lessen you into a mere phase, a lesson, or a chapter, I recognized that you comprise the entire story. Perhaps that's why I felt compelled to share with them, not to reclaim you, nor to summon you back, but because some truths demand articulation, even if they bear no promise of restoring what has been lost. You deserved acknowledgement, not concealment, not simplification, and certainly not dismissal. Our love needed to be spoken with reverence, with honor, and with love, always love, you understand. I did not anticipate the overwhelming impact it would have on me. I thought uttering your name would signify the closing of a chapter, as if exhaling a breath I had long withheld. Yet, it felt nothing like closure, rather, it felt akin to resurrection. It was as if I unearthed something sacred from the grave I had relegated it to, just to remind myself of its former vitality. And darling, you lived within me. You continue to do so. Certain parts of my being recall your touch as if it were a sacred prayer. There exist corners of my soul that have remained in darkness since your departure. And when I finally allowed your name to fill the silence, it was as if all those concealed chambers within me ignited once more. I told them I still observe glimpses of you in unexpected places, like the curve of another's smile, the scent of vanilla and vintage books, or the tilt of a woman's head when she listens intently. It's never truly you, yet it's always a hint of you, a specter woven into the fabric of the universe teasing my senses. Alas, it brings pain, not from a desire to forget, but from a fear of never being able to forget. Our love wasn't boisterous or theatrical, it was gentle and sacred. The kind of devotion rarely captured in songs, for it was too hallowed for mere words. Such love leaves one rendered speechless, not due to a lack of words, but because none feel sufficiently deserving. As I sat there, sharing fragments of you with the people who have known me throughout my life, it felt as though I was relinquishing something I had vowed to guard. Yet it was time to cease the pretense that you were merely another tale. You are the entirety of my library, the sacred documents, the neglected scriptures that provided salvation when I was unaware I needed it. The reality is, my need for you never waned. Have you ever had to love someone from a distance so profound it felt like worship? If you have, please share your thoughts. That love became a force beyond comprehension, a love I could neither touch nor label, but one that profoundly moved, shaped, and defined me. A love that imparted lessons on how to pray in silence, to ache without resentment, and to miss someone without burdening them with guilt for their absence. I withheld some aspects of you. Certain memories still dwell within the cherished space of my heart where only your name fits. But I shared enough for them to recognize the truth reflected in my eyes. You were never just someone I loved. You are someone I still love and will always love. There exists an inexplicable quality in the collision of certain souls, not solely dictated by timelines or logic, but by energy, frequency, and memories that transcend time. When I spoke of you, it was not merely with sorrow, but with a sense of awe. Through the pain and the silence that span between us like an ocean, I still marvel at the fact that I ever had the honor of loving you. For a while, I was the one you chose to share laughter, fears, gentleness, and scars with. And now the world knows, at least my world does. They understand that I loved a woman profoundly and that I still carry her name like a sacred hymn. They perceive that I lost her and never truly regained my sense of self. They know that whenever I gaze at the night sky, I ponder if you are looking up at it too, if your thoughts ever wander back to me as mine do to you, without warning, uncontrollable, infinite. I did not claim you were flawless, I asserted you were human. You made errors, as did I. Yet none of it ever diminished my affection for you. Rather, it deepened it, for I was never captivated by perfection. It was you, full of fire and tenderness, fraught with insecurities yet brimming with courage, who entered my life like a tempest and departed like a twilight glow. I continue to chase that essence. So now, as I linger in the aftermath of speaking your name, I wonder, did you perceive it? Did your heart flutter inexplicably? Did a tingling sensation course through your skin as I called you back into existence? Because, I assure you, that is precisely how it felt, like I summoned your spirit home, if only for a fleeting moment, if only in memory. After I invoked your name, everything slowed to a standstill. The room thrummed with life, yet I felt only the emptiness where you should have been. It was as though time paused, just long enough for my heart to recollect the exact rhythm it used to maintain when you were near. My love, I did not merely express that you were someone I cherished, I proclaimed that you were the sole individual who ever saw me in places I was unaware I had been concealing. I conveyed that your presence never sought the spotlight, yet somehow magnetized my complete focus, like the universe continuously whispered, "Observe her. Do not let this slip away. She is the reason your heart was created with such capacity for love." I articulated that no one had ever left a void in my life as profound. Having uttered your name aloud, I find myself irrevocably altered. It is as if an unseen load, one I had not recognized I was carrying, has lifted at the moment I expressed that you are the one who made me feel valued, despite my faults, worthy of kindness in spite of my rough edges. I confided to others all that I could not articulate in your presence, admitting that I tried to act as though I was managing after your departure, that I was not shattered, but in truth, I was merely deceiving myself. I was far from fine. There are lingering wounds within me that I struggle to name, and every time I hear your name in a crowded setting, I find myself haunted by the hope that fate might allow me one final moment with you. Strangely enough, as I spoke of you, your essence felt surprisingly vivid in that space, not merely a recollection, but a vibrant spirit. Perhaps, from afar, your soul was listening, pausing in contemplation of the thought, "He speaks of me, doesn't he?" While I may not fully grasp the complexities of the universe, I do grasp one truth: energy is genuine. Your energy remains entwined with every breath I draw, manifesting in quieter moments when an indescribable yearning envelopes me. It's evident in how I cherish your laughter, not merely its sound, but the warmth it once ignited within me. It lingers when I awaken with your name on my lips and tears in my eyes, not from nightmares, but from dreams that felt achingly real, only to awaken once more to your absence. I have a question for you that may remain unanswered. Perhaps you will sense it within your soul as I have felt your presence daily since. But, my dear, did you ever speak my name to your friends and family? Not the version they knew, the persona who smiled politely at the dinner table, but the true me, the one who held your hands and endeavored to soothe your pain, the one who stayed awake during your vulnerable moments. Did you ever whisper my name in the dark and say, "He has transformed something within me"? Even if you never return, and even if I never get to claim you again, I will never regret loving you, not for a single moment, not for any scar that remains. If you have ever loved someone so profoundly and spiritually that uttering their name felt like lighting a candle in the darkness, please let me know with an "I've felt this too." Share your experience if you've had to carry a sacred love in silence, a love the world could not grasp the depth of. That is what I have done with you, my beloved. I have treasured you quietly and faithfully. I have safeguarded the tenderness of your memory as if it were still pulsating with life. And now, I have finally confessed it, I have finally revealed to someone who comprehends my heart that no one else has reached me as you have, physically, emotionally, spiritually, eternally. If you feel this too, if your heart has tightened in the quietude of your room while reflecting on my existence, if your body recalls what your mind tries to forget, then perhaps this message was never meant for me alone. Perhaps it belongs to both of us. Perhaps you are receiving this now because your soul sought confirmation that what we shared was not merely a dream, it was something sacred. Now that I have put it into words, now that the truth is unveiled, I can finally begin to acknowledge its significance. I had no idea how deeply I had concealed you until your name slipped freely from my lips, resonating in the room like a sacred confession, one not of guilt but one uttered in a hallowed space when the weight of my soul became too much to bear. You have become, in my heart, a hallowed secret, a sanctuary in my memories that I kept locked, not from a desire to forget, but from a fear of reopening the door to emotions I had buried. However, last night, when I finally let it out, when I acknowledged, "You are the one my soul still yearns for," the atmosphere shifted. Those around me can appreciate the depth of my love for a woman whose name I hold in reverence. They recognize that her absence left me adrift, struggling to reclaim my identity. Whenever I gaze up at the night sky, I wonder if you are also gazing at it, if your thoughts ever drift back to me in an unguarded, relentless, and infinite manner, just as mine do. I never claimed you were flawless, I simply recognized your humanity. You made mistakes, as did I. Yet, those imperfections never diminished my love for you, instead, they enriched it. I was never captivated by perfection, but by you, radiant with passion and vulnerability, filled with insecurities yet brimming with courage. You entered my life like a tempest and departed like the gentle glow of twilight. I continue to chase after that essence. Now, as I ruminate on the reverberation of your name, I wonder, did it resonate with you? Did your heart experience an unexpected flutter? Did a wave of sensation wash over you as I summoned your spirit back, if only for a fleeting moment, if solely in memory? For that is precisely how it felt, to beckon your essence home, if just for an ephemeral instant. After uttering your name, time seemed to freeze. The room vibrated with life, yet I felt only the emptiness where you ought to have been. It was as if time paused, granting my heart a moment to remember the rhythm it thrived on in your presence. My love, I did not merely share that you were someone I cherished, I proclaimed you as the one individual who truly saw me in the shadowy recesses I had hidden away. I conveyed that your presence, though seemingly unassuming, captured my full attention, like the universe persistently imploring me, see her. Do not allow this to escape your grasp. Your absence possesses weight, texture. I still reach for you even in conversations I unknowingly weave in my mind. It may sound irrational, but there are spontaneous, exquisite, and heart-wrenching moments when I sense you are on the verge of entering the room, when the atmosphere shifts, and I feel your spirit brush past me, gently reminding me that I am still here. I still feel your presence. In those moments, everything else fades away. When I think of you, it transcends mere physical appearances. It encompasses the way you halted time in my world. Have you ever loved someone so profoundly that their laughter reverberates within you long after it has faded? That is precisely what you represent to me. You are a resonant frequency, a heartbeat that only my soul recognizes. Now, as I allow these words to surface, it is you who continues to linger in my heart. The silence that settled in the room suggested that everyone was already aware of what I felt. And therein lies the truth, people always sensed it. They observed how I spoke of you, even when I wasn't addressing the subject directly. They noticed the way I became silent at reminders of you and the shift in my demeanor upon hearing your name. My shoulders would tense as if your memory were a specter running its fingers down my spine. Now that I have finally voiced my feelings openly, I feel as though I have finally acknowledged the place you have always held in my life, a fact I was once too afraid to confront. If this message reaches you, or if you can feel it, please know that I have never stopped believing in our connection. I never diminished it or likened it to anything else. I carried it with me through every empty space, in every quiet journey, during every sleepless night staring at the ceiling while whispering your name to the darkness as though it was the only language I had left. Comment if you have ever loved someone so intensely that the passage of time could not erase their imprint on your spirit. Share your experiences if you've had to mourn someone who is still alive, as that is how I've come to feel, a funeral absent of a body, a farewell without closure, and a heartache so subtle that the world remained oblivious. But I noticed it, every day, every breath, and every heartbeat that felt incomplete without you. Do you even realize the degree of influence you held over me? Not in a controlling sense, but akin to how the sunrise claims the sky and how the ocean embraces the shore. You never sought power, you simply existed, and I surrendered willingly, not out of weakness, but because loving you was like discovering home. Now that I've shared my feelings with those who mean the most to me, I find myself wondering how they perceive me. Do they see a man still deeply in love? Do they notice the remnants of a relationship etched in my eyes? Or do they finally grasp why I have never settled for anything less than a soulful connection? You were not merely a lesson, you were a profound revelation, demonstrating that love does not have to be grand to be impactful. The quiet moments, like you drifting to sleep on my chest, running your fingers through your hair, or gazing out of a window, lost in thought, are often the loudest memories, echoing indefinitely. And I hope you can feel that. I hope that, somewhere within, your spirit pauses and realizes, he is thinking of me again. Because I am. Always. And ever since I voiced your truth in front of my family, I feel I have done something right, something honoring both you and us. Here lies the rawest truth. The moment I mentioned your name, my mother's expression softened. She did not look at me with confusion, she looked at me with the understanding that only a mother possesses when she knows her son is still in love. Perhaps she detected something within me after our parting that I was oblivious to. Maybe she observed me hardening, becoming quieter, distancing myself from joy. And perhaps, just perhaps, hearing your name brought her the clarity she had been longing for, not in hope of our reconciliation but because it finally showed her that I was capable of feeling deeply once more. That is what you accomplished, my dear. You opened me up in front of the very people who nurtured me. You made it impossible for me to persist in pretending that everything was fine. And now, even in your physical absence, your essence permeates everything, every breath I take and every glance directed at me. The atmosphere feels weightier with honesty yet lighter with relief. For the first time in ages, I uttered your name without trepidation. I allowed the truth of our relationship to resonate. And, oh, how liberating it felt. I am uncertain of where this journey may lead or if we will ever communicate again. However, I am resolute on this. I will never again deny what you meant to me. I refuse to alter our history to shield myself. I will not diminish the significance of what we shared simply because life compelled us into silence. You will always remain the most treasured chapter in the narrative of my soul. And now, my family understands it as well. If this message has resonated with you, if you have ever felt as though someone continues to speak your name in spaces where you are no longer present, still defends you in conversations you will never hear, still holds love for you even as the world moves on, I encourage you to take a brave step. Leave a comment below. Say, "He still loves me," or "I feel this in my soul." Share whatever truth your heart has held back. Allow the universe to bear witness. Let this space exist for unspoken love. If this message has touched your heart, reminding you of a lingering love that remains in your essence, please consider subscribing. It is not merely about clicking a button but about fostering connections, remaining open, and being ready to receive the words your heart may need in the future. Click the bell icon so you never miss the next time this voice speaks to your soul. These are not just tales, they are reflections of you viewed through love and honesty. If you know someone who might need this, share it. Let them know they are not alone in feeling everything they believed they had buried. Assure them that their love was genuine, their connection sacred, and their truth is safe here. Because perhaps, just perhaps, someone out there is still whispering your name as well. And maybe, just maybe, they are ready to vocalize it at last.